So I'm gonna jump right into it. You know what I'm saying? Jesse Lee Peterson. I'm not sure if anybody out there, that follows me is familiar with this guy, but I started tuning into him, checked him out on YouTube, came across him one day, started checking out more and more videos, and I can say there's some things that I do agree with, you know, and then there's many things that I do not agree with, especially when it's coming from a black man. Mind you, I'm biracial. My father's black. Rest in peace. My mother's Caucasian. My father and his family, they basically all came from down south. My grandmother actually from Birmingham, Alabama. So I'm sure it wasn't nothing easy, especially even from the stories I done heard, things of that nature. Even when my mother and father got together, I mean, even when things so-called quote unquote started to get better, it still was a very tough obstacle for them and a lot of things they had to go through just for me and my sisters to even be here. So with that being said, when I hear a black man sit there and go on record to sit there and basically make whites out to be the victim in every sentence pretty much that comes out of his mouth, he always is basically highlighting the negatives or the faults, if you want to say, of the black culture. And he always make whites or the white race out to be the victims. Now, me being biracial, me being a real man who inherited my father's blood, etc., etc., I just I can't even explain it, but it's just a feeling of how could you, sit there and basically discredit who you are as a person or try to disassociate yourself as much as you do. And that's a big problem that I see that goes on with you. Everything that Jesse Lee Peterson speaks upon, he always want to disassociate himself, from the black culture, et cetera, as if he's not black, as if the white friends that he do have or the ones he's met and smiled in his face doesn't laugh behind his back. Like, let's be realistic here. You one of the few dudes that I see up on here that go ahead and do what you do, and it's something that has to be addressed as far as me and others understanding your reasons. Now, I heard different shows, different segments where you spoke upon different things, and it's kind of all adding up and making sense. A person's past will go ahead and basically dictate their future, et cetera, how they go ahead and handle it. And I could tell that you have some hurt, you had a lot of hurt, and you have a lot of things that you still keep within. You understand that you dragged along with you from this dark past of going through whatever you did. And if that wasn't the case, then you wouldn't sit here and be so easily to want to disassociate yourself from who you are as a person. And if you go look this up, dissociative disorder, it's a female's trait. You always basically want to scream beta male, beta male, beta male. Everyone is a beta male. This person's a beta male. Well, how could you be an alpha male if you possess a female's trait, which is disassociation? You can look this up for yourself. I'm no psychologist, but this is facts. So I'm trying to understand, why is it that you disassociate yourself, you understand, as much as you do, let alone as a pastor, man of God, you always and constantly belittle people, calling them devilish names. Yes, God went ahead and used names as well and called people names as well in the Bible. But the way you go ahead and do it, it's a difference. At the end of the day, you're not God. You're a pastor, a man of God. So trying to understand that whole logic, and then you always screaming, you have no anger. I have no anger. I have no anger. Everyone else has the anger, but not you. Well, if you have no anger, why is it that you possess these characteristics and traits of anger or having hatred? Because a person of true love, having self-love and love for others, they're not going to sit there and be so easily to want to put down the next, belittle the next, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of their actions, regardless of whatever choices they may make and whatever they may do. I'm just trying to understand, where's the self-control within if you truly have no anger? Because I don't see it. And I'm sure many others would agree with this and want to understand the same thing and understand, the answers to the questions I have as well. So, I mean, like I said, I respect what he's doing. I don't sit there and try to knock anyone, but at the same time, when I sit there and see a black man, and my father is no longer here, rest in peace. And like I said, me being half black, half Caucasian, to see another black man sit here and do what he do, yeah, I look at it as he really has a issue within. And I think he's basically just pulling the wool over many people's heads, acting as if he's truly not angry, when in reality he is. He want to put on this front, as I feel, because if he wasn't angry, he wouldn't sit there and do what he do, like I said. And one more thing I would like to go ahead and say, he also brought up a few different points that I don't really want to go into details with, but I noticed that every time he goes and speaks to someone, he always want to basically try to pancake the situation, flip flop it, or try to trip them up, etc., etc. And he always want to berate a person with question after question after question and want the answer until you give it to him. But he never cares to answer a person's question directed at him. He always has some slick type of manipulative way of answering the question or flipping it back upon you, asking you the question. So like I said, you gotta pay attention to his games and tricks, and the only ones that will understand it, respect this video, things of that nature, is the ones that's not his followers. And there's no disrespect to his followers, but his followers, they belittle, degrade, and shoot down every single body that is in the chat room, that talks on the phone, that go against what Jesse Lee Peterson says. And I'm just trying to understand how a person of so much love, etc., etc., is a leader to a certain degree, have these followers that have so much hate for so many people. How could you sit there and lead a pack of hateful people? Where do you step in and let your followers know this is not the way to go? Or is it okay? And is it the way to go? And you allowing them to see that from your perspective? Because I'm confused on it. But yeah, this is G Swiss right here. Make sure y'all like, comment, share, subscribe to this channel right here. It's gonna be a lot more videos. Like I said, no disrespect to anyone, but I had to voice my opinion, because going on a phone call, you're not gonna be able to go ahead and get as much as you want to get off your chest, the questions you're gonna want to ask, without sitting there trying to get tripped up, etc., or being feel like you're being biasly put on hold and never getting through, etc., etc. I've been through all that. So, like I said, I'd rather voice my opinions the way I know I can. And, it is what it is. But make sure y'all stay tuned for more videos. Peace.